Hey everyone, so as we've mentioned, or as I've mentioned in our December update, we have been looking at all things 2019 and kind of just how the year has wrapped up and all of the things that we've achieved. But one of the things that I identified is that there were definitely some clear learnings that I had from the year as a whole, and I was curious to see what the team had learned in 2019 and also just what they wanted to share. So we thought we'd take the opportunity to share them with you and to see if there's any learnings that we can pass on to you. So I might kick it off. I might just do one. We'll do one each, we'll go around. It's a pretty candid and casual way of doing things. But one of my biggest learnings, so we've actually just stuck to 3. We thought, oh God, if we will do like 5 or 10, we'll be here all day. But one of my biggest learnings was to not get too caught up in the facade and the filters and all of the stuff. Even my own or our own facade and filters. So what I mean by that is I've spent most of the year really embracing or having to embrace being the face of the business. I've done a lot of PR, I've done a lot of this sort of stuff talking straight down the lens of a camera, and one thing I've learned is that takes a lot of practice, but it takes a lot of tweaking. So today we're trying to do this in one take. We don't have a lot of lights, we don't have any extra editing. What you're seeing is kind of pretty raw, but a lot of the other stuff that you may have seen has been, you know, with all the bells and whistles, and that takes a lot of preparation. But sometimes if all you're seeing, be it on social media or on the internet, or even what you're seeing kind of when you see someone all done up out in public, it may not be as real or as it looks, and it may have taken a lot more effort than what it looks. So even I got a little bit swept up in the hype in 2019 where I'd done so much, and then behind the scenes it was actually really hard and there was a lot of other stuff going on. So don't believe everything you see, don't believe everything you hear, and sometimes don't believe everything you think, because there could be a whole nother perspective on how that goes. So it's definitely a big learning for me.
So I feel like we might have a few overlaps here, but really important for me is that our worth isn't measured by our productivity. So I think a lot of us have gotten caught up in the whole hustle scene, and for me, I actually don't believe in the word hustle, and I know that everyone says find your balance, but again, I also don't believe in there's no such thing as balance. We all have a different balance between life, work, study, children, family, whatever it is. So it's really finding what stresses you, balancing that, and knowing that rest is important. And that's where I've written here that we need to have periods where we may not feel so productive, but just to really honour that downtime and know that having that rest, recovery, it makes us more productive in those times where we know that we're just going to smash things out. So just accepting that and knowing to give yourself the downtime without stressing about it as well.
Definitely. My first one is that the universe gives you exactly what you need. I think that took me a long time to realise. Just sometimes, you know, stuff happens that you don't want to be happening, and you just need to realise there's a learning there, and you won't know at the time, but later you can look back and be like, wow, okay, this taught me this. This had changed as a result, and just have trust and faith that it's actually going to get you where you need to be. I think it took me a long time to get there, but I'm happy now that I know that and excited, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that overlaps with one of mine as well, is just trusting the universe that your path is mapped out. I think we always try and force what we think we should be doing, or what so-and-so said we should be like, or you're this and that, and just knowing that it's already mapped out. So where we need to be is where we are, and if we're making the most of every single day, I think that's the most important thing, and we're not getting to the end of the day and feeling like, what should I be doing? Because there's no should. It's just trusting in your actions and enjoying and just taking the time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And anyone that's heard or read anything that I've released in the last couple of years, or even especially in podcast interviews, I talk a lot about should and expectations and all of the things that we put on ourselves. And it's funny because we're talking about 2019 learnings, but these are just learnings. we could have this exact conversation at the end of 2020 and go, oh, I had to relearn that one, so, which is really common. For me, another learning was I underestimated the power of resting and how aligned we are with the seasons. So for me, it's funny because you talked about the universe before, and I use that phrasing as well, but I often say, oh, that's a bit woo-woo and whatever, and I'm kind of warming to some of the more woo-woo stuff that's out there, or learnings that are out there, and opening my mind to all of the different things. I guess for me, I'm a big believer in, if you don't know anything about it, you shouldn't shut it down, you should just try to learn more. But one of the coaching programs I did in 2019, the group aligned our structure to the seasons, and we met 4 times over the year as a group. And what was really interesting is the theme of every session was around the seasons, and winter was around resting and was around hibernation. Now, my challenge was that I escaped winter for 3 weeks in 2019, and I went to America and it was hot over there, so I experienced summer in the middle of winter, and then because, like anyone, take 3 weeks off, you come back and you've got to hit the ground running because you've got to catch up on all the things that you didn't do while you were on holidays. So I didn't really get time to kind of have that real winter's rest. And I've realised, even though I've said this in the past, I'm like a bear. If I don't hibernate, I get really hungry and cranky and tired, and which meant that I came to the end of spring and I was burnt out. I was really tired. I hadn't had that winter's rest. So my learning there is to not to underestimate how we flow into the seasons just as much as all of the external nature does. And then on top of that, finding ways to give myself some buffer. So we're doing the same thing. We're going on a winter escape holiday again in 2020. So I'm very conscious that I'm going to need some time on the edges of that, probably on the back end of that, to really dive into winter and give myself that rest that I'm going to need.
Relax.
Yeah.
I also learned this year that quality is always better than quantity. I feel like it's not like you have to learn it every year. Sort of clothing, friends, even podcasts, like it's so much easier to have a couple that you love, you trust, you put effort into, than a million that you can't even make a choice.
That's spread yourself thin. Yeah. And that's so like FOMO. I love that you put podcasts in there, because every day someone's like, have you heard this podcast? And I'm like, no, but I don't have enough listening hours.
It's just trending. Podcasts trending now. Yeah. It's just the thing that we do.
All of them, but I can't. Yeah. So, that's so true.
Yeah.
But you have your go-tos, you know what you love. It's even friends, you know who can be there when you need them, and you know what your friends are great for, and advice, or grabbing a coffee, you know that you've got ones you really love and cherish, and that you put your energy into them rather than don't put their back, I guess.
Yeah.
So true. Now, did you share one of yours already?
Yeah, I did. I think coming to my final little point is living life for yourself. It kind of intertwines with that should, and this person said I should be doing this, or this person thinks that I'm like this, or whatever it is, but knowing that we live with ourselves and looking after ourselves and nourishing ourselves is the most important thing. That way we can give love to everyone else as well. But I think we spend so much time with our own precious energy seeking validation from the external world. So it's not about an action that we have to do to get validation from someone else, but if we're doing that action for ourselves and knowing that it makes us happy and proud, I think that just naturally translates to the outside world. If we can spend a little bit less time worrying about what such and such is going to think, or if you're not meeting expectations, I think we're going to be exceeding those expectations. So that's really important for me to remember and learn that it's not about anyone else. Sometimes you've got to be a little bit selfish, to be a bit more selfless, I think.
That's
very
that
hand in hand.
Oxygen mask on yourself first before you help others.
Yeah.
It's the same theory, making sure that we're filling our own cups before we can, that abundance is father's.
Yeah.
So true. Did you want to share your last one before I jump in?
My last one's a bit less woo-woo.
I love woo-woo. I'm embracing woo-woo.
Final learning was that Google Calendar is the best thing I've done since sliced bread. We've got I've never felt more organised. I know exactly what I'm doing all the time. I've got a bills calendar, I've got a work calendar, I've got a
Speaking my language.
I've got a calendar with my partner. It's so good. Tasks are there, reminders are there. Can't recommend it more.
Yeah.
Absolutely the thing I'm taking into 2020.
That's so funny though, because we talked about, like, obviously we talk about calendars and we share that with our clients and we implement that for our clients, but you forget that all the things we do for other people, that then we get to learn about them and we get to implement them ourselves if they're relevant. And it's quite fun being a life assistant and being
I learned so much.
I
know how to be a 60-year-old, I know how to be a 35-year-old, I know how to have kids now.
Yeah,
I'm sorted.
all things. Tick. Well, it's funny that you say having kids, because the last one on my list is that we're literally all making it up. No one has an instruction manual. If you do, please tell me where I find mine, because I don't know where it is. But that for me was especially from a parenting point of view. And this isn't a new thing. Anyone that has a newborn baby, anyone that has a toddler, anyone in my case that has a teenager, it can be really hard. Parenting can be really hard, and all the facets of your life have meant that, or my life, have meant that this year, 2019, has felt like the craziest roller coaster, where I've had people come to me and say, oh wow, the business is doing so well, I saw you on the TV, or this happened, and at the same time, I may have been going home and having some challenges from a parenting point of view, or because I was focusing so much on the business, friendships were neglected, or other things were going on. And so for me, reminding myself, and that's kind of that kindness piece, so reminding myself that I'm doing the best with what I have and the knowledge I have, and when you know better, you should do better. So when I've learned things along the way, or when I've been given the opportunity to change things, that I've actually gone and done that, but that I can't beat myself up because there isn't a handbook or an instruction manual, and you kind of just need to ride the wave of whatever comes. And
we learn from life, definitely.
Yeah.
Life is about learning some. Once we do something once, hopefully.
Hopefully,
we
know better.
That's it.
Yeah, so I think for us, as I said, we could probably sit and chat about all the things that have happened in 2019 for quite some time, but we wanted to just share with you just a handful of things that, and we've had definitely some overlapping themes there as well. We will be aiming to do a lot more of these kind of videos where you get to know us as a team, and you get to know kind of what's happening and where we can share what's happening with us personally over the next few months, and we'll continue to share that in lots of different ways. But thank you for an incredible 2019, and we hope that you look at your New Year's resolutions, and you can learn more about that if you have a little read, and that you go into 2020